Hello, everyone, and welcome to the BACP Empower Hour. I'm Lotika, Chief Small Business Officer with the Chicago Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection, also known as BACP. This webinar series is meant to help businesses and consumers get the information they need to succeed by sharing advice and stories from Chicago's entrepreneurs. And as we approach the holiday season, the shopping spirit focuses on the small businesses that are at the heart of our communities. Today's guest has been a member of the Chicago Artisan Co-op and participated in the Lakeview and Roscoe Village Chambers storefront pop-ups, which are all part of BACP's Small Business Storefront Activation Program. So let's welcome our guest today. With us today is Dr. Cedric Salone, owner of Bedewed Skin. Let's find out what led to the business and maybe even help jumpstart some of our holiday shopping for our viewers and for ourselves. So good afternoon, Dr. Salone. Thank you so much for joining us. And before we get into questions, can you please tell our webinar attendees a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I can. But first, thank you for having me. This is my first live webinar, so thank you for this. But professionally, I graduated from Xavier University College of Pharmacy in 2008. I'm a clinically trained pharmacist in what's called medication use safety and policy. So just hit my 11th year at the Department of Veteran Affairs. Of course, I'm a first generation entrepreneur and a certified organic skincare formulator. So personally, I was born and raised in Louisiana, northern Louisiana. Most people believe that there is not a city outside of New Orleans. There is a city many cities outside of New Orleans. I would describe myself as like a introverted extrovert. Of course, I love to travel and experience and embrace different cultures. And of course, lastly, I'm a dog dad of a very independent 10-year-old cockapoo.
Thank you. So you were a pharmacist prior to developing your skincare line. It feels like such a perfect marriage. Can you tell us about this transition from your pharmacy days, whether you're still practicing pharmacology all the way into developing your skincare line?
Yeah. So currently, I currently live a double life. By day, I'm definitely a pharmacist, and by night, I'm an organic skincare formulator. So after I get off work, I spend about 2 or 3 hours after work to work on my business, and I try my best to be off at 6 to create a healthy boundary. But sometimes it just goes past that. So I've been a pharmacist for about 16 years. I probably won't leave, and I probably will retire from the VA and then move into fully being or owning my own shop later in life. So there will be a sunset, sunrise type situation later on in life. But right now, I'm definitely gonna play the dual role of being the pharmacist first, and then the business owner second, and the skincare line.
Wow, that is such a big commitment in terms of time, a full-time job, and then also having a successful small business. So let's talk a little bit more about your skincare line. You have created these products from your own experiences and skin concerns. Can you talk a little bit more with our webinar attendees on how those concerns played a role in developing the Bedewed line?
Yeah, so I'll go back to when I was maybe in like high school. So I never had acne in high school, which is kind of unusual. I had clear skin all the way through, mostly through college. It wasn't really until my 30s I developed like cystic acne. Where this came from, I don't know. Started off with one bump and I end up with what they call pizza face, right? So went to the doctor, failed countless of the beginning medications, and then they put you on a particular medication. Of course, this one worked for cystic acne, which cleared my face, did a wonderful job. So I thought that was it. Right now, at this point, I'm about roughly, still my mid 30s or so, mid to late 30s. it came back with a vengeance. So I had to get on a second treatment again, which was kind of like, as I was putting my pharmacist hat on, I was like, I don't know, but it worked the first time. Let's go for it. Let's do it. So by this time, I've moved around from Illinois because I started off my career in Southern Illinois when I first graduated. Moved to I did about 3 or 4 years there at full-time retail pharmacy. Moved to Pittsburgh, then did a postdoc residency, then moved to Illinois, where I currently am now, and at the Department of Veteran Affairs, doing a second year residency. So by that time, I'd gotten off the medicine, several different climates as far as skin. And then, of course, water is everything. So I'm in a different environment. So I tried countless OT meds. After I got off, now my skin was clear, but my skin started to turn extremely dry. I mean, ashy dry under my eyes, around my ears started to peel. This has never happened in my entire life, even after the first treatment of the particular drug. So I kind of sort of took methods in my own hand after I found that I had a whole collection of different stuff that just was not working. So I decided to, open my old pharmacy books to find out if I can just make like an old cold cream of something that is rich in some type of organic butter or some type of moisturizing oil to just see what happens. Figured out something that worked for my skin. And it's currently what you see as my after shower butter, the original edition today, but it's been modified for like everyone. My first version was just for me, and I used it for 4 years, cleared my skin, and then here we are.
Oh, what a great story. Um, you know, I love the name Bedewed Skin. And as you know, a business name is so very important for branding and awareness. How did you decide upon the name for your business?
Yeah. So the first name, when I first started in 2019, sorry, it was called Butters RX. So that was paying homage to my career and what I had used to actually moisturize my skin to stop it from being so itchy and combating the dryness, because it was really dry, unnecessarily dry. And we have to always remember, being in Louisiana, it's always nice and humid. You always get the kind of the water in the air that soaks into your skin. And also, but going from that climate to other climates, it dried my skin out really bad. So I decided that the Butters RX line took off pretty fast. Only one product, used it. It was successful enough. But I wanted, in 2021, I wanted something a little different because I knew for a fact I needed something for face. The first product was for like neck down, but I never had anything for face because the butters were probably too thick, probably would have clogged pores and caused issues on my own skin, and I wouldn't have that on anybody else's skin. So I needed a name that like really encompasses everything that I possibly wanted to do later in life. Now you have all these ideas turning in your head, whether they become fruitful or not, you're not sure, right? So so I chose Bedewed Skin, which means to moisten or moisturize, or to moisturize the skin. So I figured like that was probably the best name for my particular line. Yeah, just move forward with that. And then now it's what it's called.
That's great. And just a really quick question. Did you get it trademarked?
Yeah, so the Butters RX name is trademarked, and the after years of going back and forth with drama with the Bedewed name, Bedewed Skin is up for publication in 30 days, and hopefully no one opposes it. Within the next 30 days, we move forward to the next level, and hopefully it's published. So I'll know in about maybe 60 days or so, if no one opposes.
Great. When people think of skincare, Dr. Salone, always typically a female consumer comes to mind. Was your skincare line created just for men in the beginning? And was your target market male initially? And if so, why? And where are you at right now?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So actually my target market was me. So back then I had no intentions on even remotely even selling this brand. So I just took what I thought that I needed in my skin and trial and error and figured out what I needed myself, moisturized my skin, and went 4 years without even thinking about selling this brand. And also, I had no issue. I mean, not no issue, but I had no experience in running a business. I just knew how to make things by trade of making medications, compounding medications for patients, and then using it in cold creams, ointments, and all of that stuff. But as far as merging this thing into skincare and making it public, no, I had no idea on that. So it wasn't until like friends tried my product and say like, oh, I think you should sell this product and give it a shot. I said, no, I have a lot of things to do. So I said, you know what? What if I did it? What is there to lose? Okay. And so I just started to research a couple things, and I did research what you just named was target market. I said, wait, I don't know anything about a target market. I'm my own target market, but I can't be my own target market. Actually, I have to have someone to sell this brand to. Continue to research a little bit more, and I found this. I found the Puerto Rican Culture Center had an actual incubator that helped small business develop in any way that they could, as far as finding their target market, as far as gaining access to different type of customers and being in front of the scene and putting your product in front of individuals, right? So I did that, but I still really did not have a good grasp on how to run a business. I'm just floating, to be honest, I'm just floating around, just trial and error, just throwing things at the wall and hoping it sticks, right? So there was a lady by the name of Laura Lane who came to talk to us. It was some type of event, I can't remember, maybe 2021, some type of event at the Puerto Rican Culture Center. And she came from Sunshine Enterprises. She explained a program, it'll help you develop and grow your business. You can find out your target market. As soon as she said target market, target audience, I'm like, okay, yes, let's see. And so I'm looking at my calendar to see if I can find time to do this. And I'm like, okay, yes, let's do it. So went through that program. And when I tell you that was probably my foundation and one of the best things I could have done for my business, because clearly, again, I'll say that I did not know how to run a business, but I knew how to actually make product. And those are two separate different things. You can know how to make something, but knowing how to sell it and market to somebody is two totally separate things. And I use that, the wonderful knowledge that they gave me as a foundation. And then even moving on, I want to say I don't know if it's divine intervention or just luck, but I ran into a program called Hands-On Twin Cities with Target Pro Bono program, and also helped me develop a brand identity. So now I kind of sort of know who my target audience is, but do I really know what my business is? So I need some type of brand identity. What are the colors I should use? Who am I trying to go after? And what type of look do I want? And once I passed all of that, got my brand identity in, now I'm closer. I'm getting closer to who I need to market to. Clearly, it's getting more clear. I moved into a program, 37 Oaks, Definition Theater, e-commerce marketing with Taran Smith. And that's been phenomenal for my growth. Those programs that they offer over there are phenomenal. And this is when I believe that I was able to drill down and seek that target market of having that 35 to 44-year-old male or female with that dry, dehydrated skin that kind of prefers minimal fragrances and no dyes and products that are made of plant-based botanicals, and that wouldn't cause further irritation to their skin. And they probably already used over-the-counter products just like me, probably failed those type things and kind of just wanted to have something a little bit more plant-based, right? So within these programs, I was able to segment out, because at this time, I still didn't know I found a target market, but you can go even further and segment out that target market and create small personas, which are like representations of individuals who would buy your product. And those things, I learned all those things from all those incubators, and I'll tell you, it was a wealth of knowledge. I feel so much more comfortable now running a brand, but back then, no.
I just want to kind of underpin something that you said, which was so important, which I really want our webinar attendees to take away. is that there are a lot of no-cost resources that are
Mhm.
funded by various government agencies to help small businesses in the greater Chicagoland ecosystem really, start their business, grow their business, scale their business. You don't have to pay
Right.
consultants high prices to get the kind of support that it really takes to uplift your business and really, like you said, Dr. Salone, to get to your target market, to define your brand identity. So the city of Chicago funds neighborhood business development centers. And it
Mhm.
just so happens Puerto Rican Cultural Center is one
Oh,
of
okay.
our neighborhood business development centers. So, we fund organizations to do this work in communities with small business owners
Mhm. It's,
for us, because at the end of the day, small businesses are the heart of our communities and they're the
yes.
backbone of the city of Chicago's economic, future. So we really, really want them to succeed. So thank you for highlighting that. I really appreciate it because it is something that gets overlooked far too often.
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes. And to be honest, the things that they taught me, if you were to go online and look up these things, these different type of programs that teach, and they may teach you all of the stuff, they may not be. And eventually, I got all of what I needed out of multiple products. No program is going to be a one size fit all or a Walmart, as I say. But the programs that I was looking at were out in California, $3,000 for an 8-week class or something of that nature online. I don't know what I'm going to get out of that type money. But I knew for a fact Sunshine Enterprises
yeah,
offered, I think it's real low cost for the things that they offer. It's low cost.
yeah,
It's really low cost. It could be worth way more than that, but I'm so grateful that I was able to find them. Or Laura Lane came to
yeah.
the Puerto Rican Culture Center just to go. And then also Turan with in Definition Theater and all those and Hands on Twin Cities, all those individuals. I know these things could cost like thousands of dollars if they wanted to try, but
Mhm.
I'm glad that they kept it, low cost.
Yeah. Um, so, you've obtained certificates, Dr. Salone, from a skincare formulator program. Can you tell us a little bit more about these certifications? And for what you do with Bedewed Skin, why was it important for you to obtain them?
Yeah, so it's kind of a twofold thing. So even though I knew how to make basic products as far as pharmacy, so every pharmacist comes through, we always compound the basic things, we add drugs to certain things, but skincare is not it. We protect the skin, but you know, you go get jumping into ceramides and all of these different type things. We don't do that. We just trying to deliver the drug to your skin the best safe way that's effective. So I wanted to join a program that focused on teaching me how to become an organic skincare and a formulator. And also I read, I'm just reading on a plane and I heard that, or read that, the UK uses much less chemicals than the actual United States. That is not to say that the United States don't watch or for safe and effectiveness of skincare, right? But as I'm reading it, I'm intrigued by formulating as someone who would formulate in the UK because now I will be more on a global scale. I will be more accepted across the board. I don't have to worry about not being accepted in the UK because I formulate based on USA standards, right? So I decided to join Fona Botanica. It was an organic cosmetic school, and you became a certified organic skincare therapist, a skincare formulator, maybe about 60 hours of study, quite online. And I use it as a blueprint to merge my existing compounding skills as a pharmacist into formulating skincare. And I thought that was so important because as a pharmacist, we really focus on safety and efficacy. And so it's going to be the same thing over at when it comes to skincare. And so those different badges that you may see like on my website is facial mask therapy, where I know for a fact I jump into clays and making sure you put on your facial mask correctly, take it off correctly, don't leave it on too long to stop dry skin. Obviously, my brand is for dry and dehydrated skin types. I want to cause less irritation. Obviously, I want to know those techniques to get the actual clay off your face, mask off your face. Cosmetic preservation is key. You definitely need to have the correct a preservative in an actual skincare brand or will go rancid. And when it goes rancid, what happens? Somebody breaks out, and here you go. You have a problem, a lawsuit, or anything like that. I chose anti-aging, one, because I was getting old and the population is getting older. And I want to at least, I always tell people all the time, I want to at least look my age. I don't have to look younger, nor do I have to look older. Just look my age. I know I'm aging, but I kind of want to slow it down just a little bit. And also product stability testing, because just because you have a product, that doesn't mean it's stable. If you have an oil and water or lotion, that doesn't mean it won't split. So you have to know the correct, ingredients to put in, so that when you go into, your big box stores or even your small stores, you don't have a product that has split or just doesn't look appealing. It has to be stable and solid all the time.
Yeah, that's great. And I think you also touched on selling online versus going into big box retail. So right now, Bedewed is currently an e-commerce business, but you have been a member of the Chicago Artisan Co-op when you participated in storefront pop-ups in Lakeview and with Roscoe Village Chambers, and they're all part of our small business storefront activation program that BACP runs. So what benefits do you see as a small business in being online, purely e-commerce based, and then, also being available in stores and markets?
Yeah, so brand awareness is very key to success. So when I first took an approach to this business, I was behind the scenes and the product was first. And so now I figured, like, no, I think it's time for me to get out in front of the actual product. So I wanted to be in the Chicago Artisan Co-op to get into stores, but I also wanted to learn, because eventually I want to own my own store one day. So I felt like, signing a lease with them for about, I think, 6 months at a time was a very low risk, but a big reward. So there I was able to run my skincare workshops to see who would come if I just organically just posted a sign and said, will somebody come in and ask? And so this is all trial and error. Definitely set things up on my website, had individuals there doing classes. People saw the store was beautiful for one. The windows were open, people were seeing people in. So now I'm collecting all these data. So when I get ready to run my store, definitely I know for a fact I need something with a big window so people can see and kind of wonder what it is. Also, I use it, I needed to find out the space that I needed. I needed more front space. I needed more back space than front space, because I have a lot of machines that I'm starting to currently buy as I start to grow. I'm gonna have to have a lot more back space than front space so that I can comfortably make things in a nice area. And also, to me, it was assimilating running a store at the same time I'm working my job. So see what days that I can go in, what days I can't go in, what days are too tough, what are my hours that I really want to work. So I kind of just play with that a little bit. Also, rent, what does it cost to rent a store? Utility bills. I know nothing about a utility bill outside of my house. So what is it like to run lights all day? Because if you want a store that's safe, the lights stay on all day. And also physically meeting new customers and finding out and tweaking your actual customer base, your target audience. Is my target audience really the 35 to 44 that I always thought it was? Maybe it is a little younger, maybe it is a little older, or maybe I'm in the right range. But you get to meet different people who want to try different things and different neighborhoods, and you just have a good time. So it was definitely brand awareness that led to success in that regard, and also low risk, big reward, and all the things I named.
I'm great that worked out so well for you. And the fact that you have such a clear multi-channel approach, I definitely see a storefront in your future.
That's all.
So, I want to get to this question that we like to ask all our entrepreneurs and all our small business owners. It always takes money to make money. And many of our attendees who are potentially here listening to us today would at some point have to seek capital to start or scale their business. Can you share some advice on what you have done on this business aspect with Bedewed Skin?
Yeah, so luckily, right now, my brand has been able to sustain itself without borrowing money. When I first started the brand, I said, look, first of all, I treat my brand separate than me. I'm Cedric on this side, and I'm Cedric, the business owner, on this side, right? So I gave my brand $1,000 and said, look, this is what you have. We have to make it work. So luckily, I've been able to sustain without receiving loans. Now, that doesn't mean that later in life I will not get one. Actually, probably when I get a storefront, I probably will have to have one because I know to know renovations or anything like that. I probably will know whether I need renovations. But I would say for the person that's starting to seek capital to start or scale a business, I think you should be proactive versus reactive when it comes to this situation. If you've gotten your business license or if you hadn't gotten your business license, make sure you have all that stuff before you even remotely go to a bank so they can at least take you serious, right? I'm not just going to use the bank as an example because I think it's the easiest one. Make sure your business is like properly registered. You got your tax ID, you got all the stuff, all the things. And if you don't know, you could just always go into the bank and say, hey, I would like to open up a business account, but I don't know what I need. And then of course, they're very, very nice people. Some people are intimidated by bankers. They're very, very nice people. They want to service you just as much and lend you money and it's actually make money off of you. That's just plain and simple, right? And you go and you open up a business account after you get all of your things straight, you go in, but as you're sitting down talking to the individual, and this is what I did my very first time, sat down, talked to the individual about opening a business account. I had all the things that I needed. I just so happened to asked her, I said, hey, one day I'd like to have a storefront. What if I walked in here one day, I needed $10,000? Like, what do I need to get like a $10,000 loan? And then so she was thrown back. She was like, well, you just opened up the account. I was like, that doesn't mean anything. I just still want to know. I want to write it down because obviously I shouldn't have to like come back to ask you that. I know you already know. So of course she lists off a couple of things. Of course, you need definitely good credit. And every bank, I think this particular bank was maybe like 720 or so. But then again, this was 2 years ago during the pandemic. Things were a little funny. I don't know what it is now, right? So definitely, they asked for a good credit score or a credit score. They wanted to know about my accounting, like what is my cash flow? How much money is coming in? Am I able to cover my bills? Because of course, if you think about it, they want to get paid back. So they definitely want to know, are you able to pay them back? Do you have enough money coming in? And they also wanted to know about a business plan. What do you plan on doing with this money? And is it feasible enough for us to lend you this money so we feel confident giving you that money back? So if you don't start anywhere, start going to the bank and getting to know your loan officer or one individual that's in there, and how you can get comfortable with them is sometimes don't always go through the drive-in and deposit money. Go inside and talk to somebody who you know, or the person you open up the account with. They want to service you. They want to give you all the credit cards they want because they have numbers to meet too. So they'll give you all that information with no problem.
Yeah. That is such great advice, Cedric. One, being proactive, like start looking for money when you actually don't need it, because you have to put so many ducks in a row to be actually able to access capital, and then building relationships with your local bank and your local banker. Really, really important pieces of advice. So thank you for sharing that. So, moving away from money into marketing and promotion. So what is your current strategy when it comes to marketing and promotion? And has it evolved since you started the business in 2019?
Oh, yeah, of course. My first strategy, well, first of all, I knew nothing about marketing. And marketing is an ever-changing, evolving thing. You won't know everything unless you're definitely in that type of arena. But until I don't have an actual dedicated marketing individual on my team, but because I am the marketer, I'm a solopreneur, so I am the marketer, the content creator, the everything, the seller, the vendor, all that. So at first I just read books and just threw the spaghetti strings at the wall. I hope it stuck. Sometimes, no, it didn't work out. And I changed. Over time throughout those different programs, they taught like small little jewels, and I'm just picking them up as they go along. Now for a fact, I know 2024 is over for me, even though it's actually was over for me maybe in September. I had already planned Christmas and Thanksgiving and Black Friday and Small Business Saturday sales. You normally would do that in June. I did that maybe like July-ish, so I kind of was late, but wasn't too late. So what I've learned over the years is that you must follow behind different stores. Don't reinvent the wheel. When you start seeing stores change things early, you need to sort of kind of change things early as well. So I said that this year was going to be the year of intentional growth, definitely posting more content of me being even more consistent, even though I was consistent this year, being even more consistent with content of me being posting me and other products all the time. Automation and planning, like planning things out months in advance. I've had two students that I tried like over the year. It was phenomenal to plan out 6 months in advance to already set them up in an automation tool called Metro Tool. There is one called Hootsuite. It's expensive. I went from Hootsuite to something that's called Metro Tool. It helps me plan things out and actually gives me color-coded times in which most people would be on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at that time, and you can possibly put your ad up and more people will tend to see it. Also, email segmentation is very important over time. I just learned about this. Sometimes people read your emails, sometimes they don't. Sometimes people don't like emails, they just flip right over them. So you kind of want to focus on those individuals who are reading your emails, enticing them with your product. I'm doing that way more and kind of cut down on the individuals that may not, click the link. Doesn't mean you take them off your email list, but it kind of just cuts it down, right? Because you don't want to lose them as a subscriber. And also, I would say another good way that I did last year was sending an email to someone or giving them information, education is a good sales strategy. Sometimes you don't have to sell something to actually sell something, if that makes sense. Because sometimes people think like, oh my God, this person just always want to sell me something, and always got to sell. But sometimes people want to know things, random things. And I've noticed that I've gotten, sales when it's like, oh, I really like your blogs. Oh, I really like, the education you put out. And that of course, that instills trust in the community, in your brand, that you actually know what you're talking about. And also, the last thing is, as you start to grow, and as I'm growing, my market budget is starting to grow. So I made a huge mistake marketing as though I am a big brand, such as like Ford or BMW. That those brands probably market like 7% of their budget before. Who doesn't know those car brands? Nobody knows me. So I have to be up much higher than that. So basing off my last year's sales, I have increased my budget. So you may see a whole lot of ads here and there if I'm in your algorithm of my business that's coming up, because clearly I was on the low end. And again, that's some of the mistakes you make with marketing. So marketing is an ever-changing thing. You can start off yourself, then get help with someone, ask around, read books, hire someone if you can afford it. But yeah, it's tough, but it's doable.
That was such a great response, Cedric. I feel like you've given such tactical, practical advice on how to approach marketing, straight from your email segmentation portion to what you talked about with planning your social media outreach in advance, like 6 months in advance. That is fantastic. So I think that was really, really, really helpful. I learned a little bit just listening to you.
Yeah, and then so if somebody's starting off, I have to say, 6 months in advance is not a template. So you can do 1 month in advance, because time. I started off doing 2 weeks in advance. I actually was doing every other day, but I didn't have email automation. I was physically doing it myself. I found these things over time to make my life much easier. You can do it 1 month at a time, and then until you get to 3 months, and maybe you get a student that is that majors in marketing, who needs the help, who wants the business. Just fix them up, and then say, hey, could you do 6 months? You write things out for them, and there you go.
Yeah, work smarter, not harder. I love that.
Oh yes.
I love that. Every second is precious when you're running a small business and you have a full-time job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Solopreneur, I tell you, I'm everything. I wear every hat.
Yeah, you're wearing every hat. November is such a big month for small businesses. It signals the holidays are coming, and being a small business yourself, Cedric, what are some of the outreach efforts that Bedewed Skin has done to remind consumers that this is the holiday season for shopping local?
Yeah, so there is a way to do it. The only thing you can do is like put yourself out there as much as possible. Showing up at every market, and sometimes it's not possible, but showing up at every market, making sure you have your cards ready just in case. And if you don't have a card ready, what I do recommend is actually not even carrying around cards because people just throw things away. You can use like your cell phone, which has an electronic card, or a wristband of your watch. You also have to physically market yourself like in some type of untraditional ways. Like I have a sticker on my car that has just like got dry skin, and people are so intrigued and want to scan, and then they go straight to my website and doing those things. And also mailings to my individuals, like physical postcards to my individuals, maybe for Christmas, also sending them birthday like messages about the holidays that are coming up. We're a small business, support us. Shameless promotion is never shameful to me. If there's a way for me to plug my business in every conversation, I will, and have no problem doing it.
And
So
as you should, as
yeah,
you
and so,
should.
yeah, I've worked very hard on it. So I would just say just reach. There's no wrong way to reach out or give outreach. Just put your name out there, and one you just have to put your ego aside and kind of just put your fears aside and go out, because people are eager to learn about stuff that's new, just as well as you should be eager to tell them about it.
Yeah. This is wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your professional journey story with our attendees. I want to transition a little bit to personal. Running a business is hard. It takes a lot of time. It
Oh,
takes a
yeah.
lot of your energy as well. So, what do you do to relax?
So one thing I like to do is I'm getting into more hiking, and another thing I like to do is travel locally and abroad, especially travel abroad at least 3 to 4 times like a year. But travel locally, I call it like small town Sunday. Is when I go to a small town, I don't know what's going on. I've never been to these places, but I know for a fact I read that they may have apple picking, a festival that's going on. I grab a friend of mine and say, "Hey, let's go." Because you kind of need that reset, because I know for a fact Monday is I'm back to work. I'm physically back to doing my business, and I try my hardest I try my hardest not to work on my business on Saturday and Sunday, to give myself a good work-life balance, because clearly I have a great work-life balance with my current job. I'm focusing on having a more of a work-life balance on my actual business too. And you need that rest to recharge, to reset, and all of those things. So you can come up with different ideas, come up with different strategies, and write down things as you go. Sometimes when I travel locally, I just go to these small little towns, sit out, and what I call like people watch, and then clearly take a notebook, or I go to these small stores and see what they're doing that I haven't thought about, and just kind of sort of like, jot it down as I go and say like, okay, yeah, let me do that. So,
Oh, I love it. That is so wonderful. So, Dr. Salone, what is your personal number one skincare rule?
okay. So yeah, three things. So I moisturize with Bedewed Skin. I hydrate with my water, and also last, I mind my business, because clearly when you don't, you get wrinkles.
Yeah. That was beautifully said. This webinar is titled Empower Hour. Can you share a piece of advice that can empower our attendees today?
Yeah. So that was one thing that I would say. Two things I would say is that there's going to be a lot of people that come through your life. There's going to be a lot of positive and negative energy. But what I want the individuals on the call to know is that they should find their tribe. And whether this is somebody who is in the same business area or not, it doesn't have to be, but they have to have the same goals. They have to have the same drive to move their business forward. There was a book, Taran Smith of 37 Oaks wrote a book, and it was called Prepare to Shift. Prepare to Shift. And it was like giving ways of how to move or shift your business from the hobby area to the growing area. And keep in mind, there is nothing wrong with a hobbyist. Obviously, they want to just sell, get what they need to get, and go. Everybody's a hobbyist. I was a hobbyist myself. Obviously, I never planned to sell this. I was a hobbyist at that time. But then when I planned to sell, I said, okay, well, this thing is going good. Maybe I should, join these programs. Maybe I should meet different people, all of that. The conversations are totally different. It is kind of like someone who, and you hate to say it this way, but everybody will get it. It's no slight to anyone. So please don't take this in any kind of way. It is kind of a conversation of you go off to school to another school far off away. You come back home to the same people that you have things in common because you grew up together, but the conversation is different from the people you went to school with versus the people who you didn't. You can still find some type of common ground, but the conversation is different. It's the same thing as a person that is a hobbyist versus a person who is in the growing stage. Once you find those particular individuals, you definitely will lean on them as they will lean on you, throw things back and forth, and your business will begin to grow much faster than doing everything just by yourself. So find your tribe, whoever that is. And the next thing I would say, I think is always is important. And my friends, if they're online, they'll probably always say, Cedric, you're always saying this. People need to learn to set healthy boundaries for themselves. It makes you feel more secure. It makes you feel like control of your well-being. Because if you're not centered and you're all over the place, and keep in mind, like having a business, you're gonna be all over the place anyway. So the extra craziness from the outside stuff, let it go. You don't need that. There's a lot of things that's going on in your business that's all over the place. You're trying to hold it tight as much as you can. Be respectful and assertive when setting your boundaries. Make sure they're very clear with an individual who may overstep your boundaries so that, you don't get off track with your business. You don't feel disrespected. And if you do feel disrespected, make sure you say it in a respectful manner to say like, hey, you may have said this to me, I didn't like it. Don't do it again, but in an assertive, respectful way. And also be consistent. When you stand your ground, don't move. Because people will be ready to test you and know nothing about your business and downgrade your business. So to protect yourself, find your tribe and set those healthy boundaries of saying no, being respectful of everything, being assertive, being consistent, so that you can feel secure in yourself and protect your well-being and stay as centered as possible.
That is such insightful advice. So thank you for that. Can you provide us with your social media handles and your website?
Yeah, so my website is www.bedewedskincare.com. And also my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and all the rest are Bedewed Skin. So I am on a road to 1,000 followers on my Instagram. So hopefully, I don't know how many people on this webinar, but I should definitely see at least that many followers.
41.
My brand. So it is Bedewed Skin. And if you guys need me to put it in like the chat, I definitely can put it in the chat. And type it here. Let me just type it here.
That is wonderful. This was such an insightful conversation. It was very enlightening as well. And would love for you to stay a little bit longer so that we can take questions from the audience. So I'm going to turn it over to Stella to moderate the Q&A.
First question, what was the name of the organization you learned the skincare information certification from?
Oh, okay. It's called Formula Botanica. And I'll put it in the actual chat here. And it is a school that is out of the UK, and it is an online school. And I think that you could sign up for a webinar with them just so that you get to learn about what they do, how they do things. And they take classes. I think when I took them, it was maybe once a year, but I think they take 3 classes a year. And the second one should be coming up pretty soon because I think they're already in the first one.
How do you keep skincare prices competitive? And how do you pitch your brand versus the larger corporations?
So you have to keep them competitive, you have to go down you have to walk down the particular aisles and see what's out there. Who's out there, who's comparable to you. So, and first of all, you have to find out who your competitor is. And that's why it's so important to go through these programs to find out who your real competitor is. So my competitor, if I'm looking to move up, because I would like to be in retail. If I'm looking to move up into retail, I'm going to find somebody on the retail shelf that I actually want to be like or somewhat like. So I looked at Eucerin, like Aveeno, and Neutrogena. So Eucerin is pretty much straight across the board. All the prices are kind of the same, but it also depends on where you go. Whether you go to Target, Walmart, all that stuff. So you're gonna pay like these $10 to $12 of something, and you're gonna find out if you look on the back and you look at the ingredients, you find out what type of ingredients do they have, and you can kind of sort of figure out the percent. I hope this doesn't get too deep, but you can kind of sort of figure out the percentage of a particular product that they may put on the bottle that this thing has. I kind of sort of try to stick in the middle of those individuals and try to do what they do, do best what they do least, and then try to stick in between the middle of those individuals. And there's a second part to that question too that I forgot. Wasn't there a second part to that question?
And how do you pitch your brand versus the larger corporations?
Yeah. So I'll never have, right now at this time, I'll never have the market value to ever pitch against them. They are everywhere on every television station, on every network, everywhere. So I have to do what I do best. And now it is best for now, since I'm in a growth stage, I have to show up at way more markets to get my name out there, because brand awareness is still big. I'm still kind of sort of back and forth in that particular stage, because not everybody knows your brand, but nobody won't know your brand until somebody knows your brand. So you need to put it in everyone's face as much as possible. Again, shameless promotion is not a problem with me anymore. Try my things. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But if you like it, I need you to purchase it. And again, and again, and again. So definitely do, the local markets that are free. Definitely do the markets that, if you can, do the markets that are that cost. And once you get to a point where you can start doing the markets that cost, quite a bit, maybe the $600 type markets, those are when you really meet individuals who are really, serious about spending all types of money, and also serious about skincare. And they look for certain things that you may have in your particular brand. So there's many ways. There's no template to this thing. Again, I was no marketing major. I kind of had to, depend on Google, students, and all of that. But you just have to just try things to get it out there.
Do you mentor?
No. Actually, I mentor pharmacy students. This is new to me, and I'm probably taking some of my my mentor abilities over to this, because I hate for people to make the same mistakes. Because if this is a candid conversation, there is a lot of individuals who are gatekeepers for no apparent reason. There's no reason you should keep whatever information you're keeping. I share things all the time. And I think I'm just an open individual that share things. I don't want you to make the same mistake that I make. First of all, you shouldn't be wasting money anyway, because clearly you're a new business owner. So if I can help you not make a mistake that I made, and specifically not waste money like I did, I'm all for it.
They're talking about a book that you mentioned. Can you put it in the chat?
Oh yeah, the Prepare to Shift book. Yeah, let me put it in the chat. Yeah. And that's an excellent book. And it's an easy read too. It's very short, and it's a workbook. So it makes you write different things down, makes you think about different things. Terrain is awesome at 37 Oaks.
And while you're doing that, we have another question.
Okay.
You partner with local estheticians, or would you? I would love to work with your products.
Yeah. So I do. I currently have one that's on site. We're in the testing phase. Right now we are seeing, she wants more products for like her male client base. Well, male and female. She wants more for a male client base. So I'm testing this out. So this is a test and reply. But yes, eventually, let's definitely stay in touch, because if it goes well with her, to work out the kinks of what should I offer her first, how many products should I offer her, what's selling, what's not selling. If that person is serious in selling, because you have to teach that person how to sell your brand before they can sell it. And also they have to use it before they can actually sell it. So they can be just excited about your brand and what it can do. So they can tell the person that they're trying to sell it to the same thing. So yes, to answer your question, yes, I am working with something. So it's coming soon. So let's stay in touch. Definitely email me. And so I can write your name down and then we'll chit chat.
Product packaging. How do you find your product packaging? What
Okay.
company did you use?
Oof, man. So first of all, my product packaging changed like several times. I would say when I first, hold on, let me just put this in the chat here. This is my email address for that individual who, that esthetician. So my product packaging changed several times. So again, when I first said this, when I first started this brand, I said that I wanted to definitely do this thing the right way. So I hired a good product packaging designer. Every designer is not the same, so don't think you can go to Fiverr and find some designer that's gonna give you, not that doesn't say that they're not, but you need to look for individuals that are used to designing product packaging, correct? Also, once you find that particular person, I've went through maybe 3 people, and I have one person like, you know, on standby. And once you find a particular person, stick with them. They will definitely know your brand, learn your brand, and all of that. And also, printing out your labels professionally does something different for your brand. Now, you can do it by yourself. You can buy a printer. You can do this. You can do that. But eventually, once you move past or make enough money to print it out professionally, it works wonders for your brand. The color is bright, it's sparkly, it's attractive, and all of that stuff. So, and also product packaging, you have to just go to different suppliers and find out what you like, what you don't like, who's running a sale. I would say everybody should have at least 3 manufacturers to the backup, because nobody keeps things in stock. You may think that you're good to go for 2 or 3 months. And remember, you're a new brand, you're brand new, you're not gonna be able to buy 10,000 units at the same time. You may just be able to for 500 or even 200. So you should always have 2 or 3 product packagings or bottles or labels or something like that, like on standby, just in case one goes out of stock.
Okay. I think I see a question in the Q&A. What is the name of the social media scheduler that you're using?
It's called Metricool. There's one I put in the chat. It's called Metricool. Metricol. There's one that's called Hootsuite. But Hootsuite actually went up tremendously. It used to be reasonable, like a monthly price used to be reasonable, but now it's expensive. It's like over $100, and I'm sure they added like a whole lot of different things, you know, to Hootsuite. But Metricool is just fine for me. I mean, I'm a beginner. It's just fine for me. It's easy to navigate. It connects to all of my websites. I set it up on one page, and each particular posting goes to all of my feeds: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, even Pinterest. So, and YouTube if there's a video. So if you have a stream of videos that you wanna post, you can just post it on Metricool. It would post it. And if there's a problem with the posting, it'll actually send you an email saying that it's a problem. You need to go back and fix XYZ, so it'll post correctly.
Okay.
Set it and forget it.
One more question, and
Okay.
then we'll do your final thoughts. How long does product development take?
So for me, product development takes about 6 months, because it is me figuring out what I want to do. That's probably about a month. Also, I need to get a focus group. I cannot be my own focus group. I like everything I make, and I like every cent I make, but I'm not the person that's going to buy it, right? So definitely, whatever you're trying to do, get your basics down. Definitely get you focus on what your product is. Look at your mission, your vision all the time. Write it down on the board, making sure it fits that. Before you even start to make a product, you can do things for fun if you like, you know, but to sell, it's something totally different. After that, I sent for skincare. After that, I send it to an independent lab to make sure that my product can withstand or need like a stronger preservative, or because I may, even though I may know what I know, maybe I didn't pick the right preservative. And so is it at the right strength? So, putting it in those testing phases is really good. And I think that takes about maybe a month, because they tested every 7, 14, 21, and 28 days. If you go longer than that, that's stability testing, but that's something totally different. That's like a 6-month thing where they can extrapolate to your product being open maybe like 9 to 12 months to 24 months. That's something totally different. But they do an antimicrobial challenge testing. And I do know for a fact a lot of individuals that are small businesses skip that over and they're not preserved correctly. So that's a good thing. So that takes about a month. And also, you kind of want to figure out what your labels are going to look like, the colors that you want to have, what type of bottle you want to put it in, who you're trying to market it to. This is for males, females. What are you trying to do? And then once you put it out there, it's a go. And always remember, just because you put something out there doesn't mean it's going to sell. And just remember, the things that you think that won't sell takes off and is your fast seller. I've had that happen to me twice.
Okay, just one more question. I was very curious. This is for me. I've never heard someone talk about independent lab testing for products. We've done many of these, even with our expos. I never heard anyone talk about that. Do these places exist here in Chicago? And
yeah, no, not in
expensive?
Chicago. So I sent one to work with a company like out in Twin Arbor. I think it's in Seattle, I believe. But they may have moved to Colorado by now. But I sent to Twin Arbor Labs. There's several of them across the country. They all have different prices and different tests that you can do. They're all expensive. I think some of the tests that are like $300 here are like $59 in the UK. Very, very, so you can do independent testing at your house. There are kits that you can purchase if you're making things for yourself. But if you don't trust yourself or want that extra certificate of analysis where you can say like, yes, my product has been accurately preserved. Nothing will grow in this particular product up until this particular point as you put on your bottle, 3 to 6 to 9 to 12 months after you open it. I'm pretty much positive that it will stick as long as you stick with the same methods you used when you send the product in. Now, just because you send a product in, that doesn't mean you need to get sloppy afterwards, because now things can happen. The only drawback with sending things into a lab, which is really not a drawback, but it's really a money grab, you can have the same, like all of my oils have the same recipe across the board, but they have a different scent. A different scent makes it a different product, because a different fragrance is made differently with a different composition. And so I have to send in all of them at once in bulk and then get them all tested. But you can't do that at home. They have kits that you can buy like online just to test it out to see where you are. They have my antimicrobial kits that you can purchase and put in like little small tubes. You set in the shelf, set under your cabinet, set in a hot area. You can do those things. They have a lot of things online.
Okay, that is it, Lotika, for the questions.
Thank you.
Dr. Cedric, any final thoughts? Words of encouragement?
Yeah. You know what? Again, as I said, that there's going to be a lot of people around you that may try to discourage you from doing something you want to do. I would say, respect your own privacy and hush. If you got to do something, just do it and let them find out later. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. The only way you fail is that you didn't try.
Thank you so much for those nuggets of wisdom, Dr. Salone. This was incredible. What an authentic, genuine conversation. So many insightful little nuggets of information. Really enjoyed speaking with you. And I'm sure all of our attendees really got some very valuable information just listening to you.
I hope so.
Yeah. Thank you again so much for joining today's Empower Hour. You can watch today's Empower Hour on our YouTube channel by visiting youtube.com/Chicago BACP. And for information on our next Empower Hour, please visit chicago.gov/business education. Again, thank you from everyone here at BACP. Dr. Salone, it was such a pleasure to speak
thank
with
you.
you
Thank
and
you.
learn from you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. See everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.